all I know about Diablo right now is it had what seems to be like a really solid start, right? Everyone was really excited and really on board. And right before this new season, it's just completely cacked everywhere. And everyone is so mad about everything.
Yeah. I can tell you what I've seen about Diablo.
I mean, yeah.
Apparently they've nerfed pretty much every single class so that it's not harder, it just takes longer to do everything.
Yeah, just more tedious. Yeah.
Yeah, because
people really it's like the most unfun thing you can do.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess people are just progressing through the end game too fast.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. It's Diablo is still like, you could buy it, you could play all the way through to like level 50, 60 and have a great time. And I feel like mess around in the end game and feel like you got your money's worth, but it's like that's not everything, right? Because Diablo is supposed to have an end game of chasing down like perfect loot and stuff like that, and it just doesn't support that at the moment, which is
it's like Seasons is supposed to be almost the fun mode. It's like the reward mode where you get to be overpowered.
Yeah.
You get to do the things you did before, but you get to be an absolute chad about, you know? That's what, at least for me, that's what Seasons was. It was the reason to go back, was the power fantasy.
Yeah. And it was like adding fun twists to your class or gameplay or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was always slightly different. It wasn't like, well, I mean, you know, you could always be like, right, time to go spin as a barbarian again. But, you know, sometimes spinning around really hard is fun.
I want to...
It's not at the moment, Sam, I'll tell you that much.
No, I know, I looked.
I want to keep talking about this because it's really, like, is really on right now. I've got some things to say about it as well. We'll do the intro really quick and we'll just go straight into it, I guess. We'll just run with it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Game FourCast, our weekly game podcast where we get together and chat about what we've been playing and everything new about games during the week. My name is Josh, aka BottlerWorks. I'm here with Olive Meister Will.
Hello.
And Sammeh.
Hello there.
Yeah, Diablo 4. Where were we? What were we saying? It's just...
So Diablo 4 Season 1 launched on the 20th or something.
Recently.
And I'm not feeling it, I don't think. I really was excited to go back to Diablo, and it's still fun. It's still Diablo, but the stuff they've added just is not substantial enough for me to just like jump back in full time, I don't think, especially not with so many other good games coming out.
Okay, so I've read like patch notes and we're doing this and that and blah blah blah, but just like in the simplest of terms, what is actually different for Season 1?
So
it's like a new boss or something, and something to do with hearts, malignant hearts or something.
So Season 1 is introducing the seasonal model of all like previous Diablos, where you make a character, everything is completely reset, because there's always, when you're on like the Eternal stuff, there's always stuff that carries over from old characters to new characters, like your shared stash and like whatever. So seasonal is a completely fresh start, and all the new, and it introduces like this like seasonal progression track, which is like instead of like a campaign, it's just like get to level 25 and do 3 dungeons and that'll be like, and you've done chapter 1 onto chapter 2 sort of thing.
Like a checklist kind of thing.
Kind of like a little checklist of stuff to do. And it's kind of fun. Every time you do a chapter, it drops you a bunch of loot. You progress through the battle pass a bunch and stuff like that. It's like, it's fun. It's fun enough. The new content is this it's called like Malignant something or other, I don't really know, but it's like a little it's like a little and it's like a little storyline about a guy who he's like, the demons are back, and they're infected, so they're infected demons, and it's like, whoa, boy, we gotta fix that. But the mechanic is basically, they have these malignant. Their hearts have become malignant, and when you kill a malignant elite enemy, his heart will hover above where you killed him, and you can click it, and it will re-summon him back to life, so you can kill him again. And then when you kill him again, he drops a. It's called a malignant heart, and it slots into now your jewelry has special sockets, slots. Basically, and all of your necks and your 2 rings have slots for these malignant hearts, and they're supposed to add extra like affixes, or kind of like legendaries, except you can have legendary jewelry with a slot, so you can have a legendary bit of jewelry with its effect, plus this malignant heart with its effect, and you're supposed to get more powerful. In practice, it's basically every now and then you'll be doing what you're normally doing, and then you'll just stop and kill the same elite twice. And most of the malignant hearts that I've found have just been not very useful at all. So it's just more gumph taking up inventory space, because it's like one of the things they said they were working on is more space for gems and other stuff, and now they've, instead of getting filled with gems, you're now getting filled with these malignant hearts instead. So
all your
not really
pockets are
fixed
full.
anything. Yeah, they just kicked the can down the road a little bit on that problem. And it's like, it's fun, but it's just not there's not enough meat.
I feel like I see people talking about Diablo 4, and I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. It's just like I think I've come to accept now that these games just aren't for me. It was a very expensive decision to come to, but it's a decision nonetheless. And it's just I thought there'd be something, I don't know, maybe more exciting, the way everyone was kind of hyping up this new season, but it just feels like, play the game again.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
I feel like us Diablo people have tried our best to like not hide that as well.
I know, yeah.
Everyone's like, so what is seasons? Like, everyone talks about seasons, like, you play the game again, but with new powers. Everyone's like, oh my god, it's going to be amazing. And us Diablo people sit back and go, yeah,
it's all right. Yeah, it's all right. But
I'm aware this is entirely my own fault for like not hyping it up, but just, I don't know, maybe expecting more.
It's the way it is. But as I say, every person that has played Diablo 3 and done seasons knew exactly how Diablo 4 was going to go down. We just didn't expect them to somehow also miss the mark a little bit.
Well, Laura and I are still somewhat struggling to just finish base game. It's not gripping us for whatever reason. I don't know what it is.
Well, I actually thought the story was really fun. Story-wise, I ended up completing it.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about it, right? I was just playing the game constantly until I finished it.
I need to push forward past all the points that I've already seen, because I did the beta, which was Act 1, and then made a sorcerer and did Act 1, and then hated sorcerer, so I'm making a rogue who is now halfway through, you guessed it, Act 1.
Act 1.
I mean, that might have done it.
That might be why.
I don't know. It's a pretty standard Blizzard affair. The main story. This isn't even seasonal stuff. But like, I don't know, if Act 1 isn't clicking with you, I doubt that it's gonna pick up.
We will get there, because we spent 120 quid on this bitch, so we will get there. It's just a case of when, I think.
Yeah. But yeah.
Besides all this seasonal stuff, there's been, I'm sure you probably already seen it, all the shit that's come with this season. There's been a patch that everyone was super upset about, because they just, you were saying earlier, but they just nerfed everything across the board.
Yeah, they've just done a flat nerf and went, right, the game's just going to take longer to complete. It's just going to be even more tedious than it was. And some classes Like, if you're playing Barbarian or Necromancer, you have been given the biggest middle finger.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, but it's like sometimes it's not even. It's like aspects of classes that weren't really. It's weird because it's like there are some builds that are just flat out like broken at the moment. Like no, they're just like the best, hands down, easily. And then they'll do stuff like nerf a different part of that broken class, but it doesn't touch the broken bit. It's just like, hey, what if the skills you weren't using did a bit less damage? And it's like, okay, I just won't. I'll continue not to use them then.
Yeah,
like,
the people playing the class are like, oh no, oh we've been nerfed. Oh,
Yeah,
please
yeah.
don't nerf us again. Oh god.
That's what it feels like. Yeah, yeah,
As they just go around just completing everything super easy.
yeah.
But yeah, that was the big thing I saw people getting upset about was the nerfs that just
I mean,
slowed down.
if you want an idea, of the kind of caliber of update, it was one of the fixes, in air quotes fixes, was increased. What was it? Increased the time to portal back to town by 2 seconds. So it went from 3 to 5 seconds, and it was like, why? What are people teleporting out of dungeons too quickly? What the fuck was that change? Like, come on.
That's like a programming joke where the app gets sped up that they're developing and everyone starts praising the programmer, but he just removed a timeout that was just sitting like a fake loading screen. You'll see that with this in like 3 or 4 seasons time. They'll be like, we've sped up teleporting. They'll be like, oh great, yeah, amazing.
Everyone will have forgotten. Yeah. And it's like I always liked Diablo seasons because it was a really good excuse to just jump in and try a new character, and everyone was like starting from scratch, and you could party up with your mates and do like rifts and stuff and build out a class in a new way.
But in 3 as well, when you did those, like you were talking about, you had like chapters to do.
Yeah.
Every time you did a chapter in Diablo 3, you got a bit of set gear or 2 bits of set gear. So if you finished the chapters, you were now out of the gates. Like,
yeah, that's a good point actually. Yeah, you were like guaranteed a cool set of a cool brand new set of gear with like bonus effects and stuff that would change. So it was like a whole build right out the gate that you didn't have to grind for or anything. You just got it. And this one is like, you get gear, but it's just like, hey, what if we dropped a bunch of herbs for your season? It's like, you can't.
Great.
Yes, I don't really care. And like the storyline they've set up is okay. It's this guy, and he's like discovered this sickness, and he's trying to cure it, and it's well voiced and stuff. But it's like it's spread too thin. It's like a couple of side quests basically, and then it'll do the thing where it'll be like, thanks for saving me. Now go do chapter 3 and 4 of your season pass and come back after that. Yeah. And season 3 and 4 have nothing to do with the seasonal mechanics. It's just like do dungeons or kill a world boss or something, and it's just like it's just not.
It reminds me of.
It's just not enough here.
It reminds me of when I was really into World of Warcraft, which was was it Shadowlands? Was the one in heaven?
Yeah. Yes, Shadowlands. Yeah.
In between patches, like every week or 2 weeks, they used to like drip feed kind of main story, but also just like the smallest amounts.
Yeah.
And what you're describing just reminds me of that, where it's like, oh, this is really cool. I actually quite like this. And then there's either not much of it or it's spread really, really thin. Because it's the stuff kind of, I guess, in between the important paid content.
Yeah. That's exactly it. And it's like if this is the kind of caliber of season you're going to run until you put out, because to run your like live service game, it's like just don't bother. Just start coming up with, bring me back when you release the Crusader or you release the Witch Doctor class or something, and then with a big expansion and new areas and stuff, because it's like it's still Diablo. It's still fun running around hitting things and doing dungeons and stuff, but like with no new areas. I did a lot of grinding on that map against those enemies in the base game, and it's Yeah, I just there's only so many times I can run that one village stronghold before I get bored of it.
Yeah, I still think this is kind of what it is going forward, and then give it, I don't know, a year, maybe a year and a half. They'll drop something big. I don't think they should charge for it if they're doing all these battle passes and monetization. They probably will.
They definitely will.
They definitely will. But I think that might be what a lot of people will just end up waiting for. Basically, it's just something a bit more substantial, with a bit more meat on it.
Because it's Diablo at the moment. It kind of feels like it's in an awkward spot where they've made all these moves towards making it a proper live service game. Because like Diablo 3 kind of was a live service game, but before live service was a term, right? When they would do seasons, they would every now and then they would do like new areas and stuff, and then they released Necromancer class just out of nowhere for like $10 or something. And now it's kind of Diablo 4 has moved towards a sort of almost MMO, but it just doesn't have the MMO hooks there to keep you playing and keep you buying stuff in their store. You know what I mean? It's such a weird game at the moment.
It's like, to keep you there, ultimately, they need gameplay that is just so banging that you can't put the game down. Like, oh my god, I want to make a new character regardless of season or whatever. I just want to keep playing. Yeah. And it sounds like for a lot of people that's just maybe just not there. Or like we were saying, these games are entirely about power creep, right? It's about the feeling of getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And then to nerf everything right before your biggest update so far is almost baffling. Yeah. Could they not have waited like a couple of weeks into the season?
And because it's basically like they want you to come back, but I'm now playing a less fun version of the game I was playing a month ago. Not by much. It's still fun, but it is like it's me and Aaron running around as our barbarians, and I was like, man, I miss my necromancer. He was so cool.
It should be. You should ultimately a start of a new season. You should be starting again, but you should feel significantly more powerful than you were at the start of the previous new character you made. Because then,
or just like enough that there should be enough there to distract me from the fact that I'm playing a brand new character, or it might be because I think if there's enough substantial content in this season that, like, oh, fair enough, they had to nerf a bunch of classes because they were getting out of hand, whatever justification they used. But if there was enough stuff to distract me from that, enough new shiny stuff to chase, then it wouldn't bother me as much as like I am literally doing the same content as I was a month ago, except my character is now worse than it was before.
Yeah. Have you played the Sam? Season 1?
I attempted to play it on the day that season came out, and the latency and lag was so terrible.
Oh man.
I decided against it. And then I just had better games to play.
Well, that's the thing just about games these days. It's just there's so much that you could potentially be playing at any point. If a game gives you even an inch, most people will just be like, okay, I'll just go back to playing X or Y or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's
well, and it is like is Diablo 4 is almost like an investment, right? Because I'm like, it's there. At some point they'll do, maybe not this season, this is a bit of a whiff, but like season 2, I'll come check it out. I still like Diablo. Maybe season 3, who knows? Whatever.
Season 17 for sure this time.
Sure, this one's gonna be a hit. Yeah.
The game now just crashes every 2 minutes, and that's the gameplay feature.
It has made me think though, like after the first time playing around, I was like, Diablo 4's gotta be in the question for Game of the Year. And now I'm like, what, the second they drop a season and we have to play it again, everyone is almost like, yeah, I don't want to play this game again. I'm like, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just like, maybe the story actually just held it up enough. Like,
they flubbed it. They flubbed it so bad they're out of the running for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
No, I mean maybe. Yeah, I could go there with you. Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's okay because Pikmin 4 needed a spot anyway. So
Yeah, yeah. I have heard good things actually.
oh, I won't talk about it now because I'm still playing. I was going to talk about it next week, but
Okay.
Pikmin 4's fucking banging. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, Diablo 4. It seems weird. Yeah, like you say, like you play Diablo 4 once and you're like, I don't really want to play it again. And it's like, you have one job. Isn't this game designed to be repeatable forever? Like, you had one job and you just. I know Blizzard never show any sort of numbers, but I'd love to see something like player retention on a game like this, just to see what is going on. That'd be so fascinating.
Yeah, because there is a certain like, is this all just? There's people like you, not. I guess you're not enjoying it, but like people like you who are just like casually playing through the campaign, right? And they have no idea any of this drama is going on, or they're like, this mob's a bit harder than it was yesterday. That's weird.
It's like I am enjoying it when I play it. It is fun, but I kind of like I play it for like 40 minutes, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm done for now. I don't find myself like time doesn't vanish or anything. Like I'm not getting sucked in. It's just I feel like I'm playing. It sounds like a weird thing to say, but like I feel like I'm playing a game, and then I'm just like after less than an hour, I'm like I'm done playing this game.
I see that. It is quite like systems driven, right? You're always looking at bars or numbers going up and stuff like that. It's not. You don't get lost in the world of Diablo, do you? You're always aware of like looking at gear and
it's so weird
percentage damage and stuff.
Because normally I would say like numbers go up games don't do much for me, right? I've always said that like just generally. But I'm literally like waist high into Star Rail still, which all that game has is anime numbers go up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe if Diablo 4 was anime, I'd be more into it. I don't know. Maybe that's the missing piece here. So I guess it's not that because like I say, like Star Rail is numbers go up, and I make the game play itself. So there is no game there. So I don't get it. I'm so confused.
It's all just numbers.
It's all just numbers.
I think that's Diablo at the moment. It's just a confusing game at the moment. There's like there's a base there that's really really good, and then there's sort of they keep spilling stuff on it.
Yeah, it'll be like a Battlefield game where 5 years time it's the best Diablo ever made. But it's a bit late by about 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
That or a game made by 3 people comes out that's an exact copy of it, but
it's
better in every
Diablo.
single way.
That'd be sick, actually. Yeah, anyone got anything to say about this before we chuck it along? I'm kind of done with Diablo.
No, I think that's...
I don't think I'll go and play it, to be honest.
No.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to wait. I haven't... They did a cool thing where you don't have to... When you bought the big edition that came with the season pass, it didn't guarantee... It wasn't the first one. It didn't have to be. So... For me, especially, I was like, me and Aaron were playing it a bit, and there's like the big buy or use.
Oh, I heard
use
about
your
this.
one
Yeah.
on the thing, and then I was like, oh, maybe I should activate that, and then I was like, maybe I'll just hold off and wait and see. And I'm glad I didn't. I don't think I want to grind.
Have you heard all the shit about that? Yeah. So if you play with a controller. And you go into that menu. Bear in mind, it's apparently, again, I haven't played much of this, but it's a menu that you go in a lot for this season.
Mm-hmm.
On a controller, the UI defaults to that button as like the starting point. So
so you're always on the buy button.
Yeah, and some people have been caught on stream. You know, it's just like sort of recordings of people accidentally using their big boy bundle pass to accidentally activate the season pass when they don't want to. It's so shady.
Well, it's also the buy the thing as well. I've seen people just hit because the button's huge and it's placed in such a way that it is there to almost catch people out.
Yeah.
And I've seen people on PC, you just click it, and then because all your details are saved and everything, it does the transaction in like 3 seconds.
No confirmation button or anything. It just activates the transaction.
Oh, really? That's really scummy.
I'm pretty sure it might be illegal in certain countries. I think
I would be shocked if that's not illegal.
Yeah, I was talking to Swagger about it in Discord the other day because Swagger mentioned how it was in like a mobile game or something, and they got done for it. And I was like, I remember this. I can't remember what game it is, but I remember this story about some game getting done hard in some countries because it had like a really obnoxious buy button that just auto confirmed and did a purchase. We couldn't work out what it was, but it was something like it was either like Call of Duty on mobile or Fortnite on mobile or something. And yeah, it's just super bad. What's like bad for consumers? I don't know what the word is, but
anti-consumer,
very
anti-customer,
anti-consumer, very anti-consumer, because none of these things are ever by accident. They go through so many people before things get implemented. It has to be.
I don't know. There's always that never attribute to malice what could be attributed to stupidity, and that kind of feels like that's what's steering the ship at the moment at Diablo, because it's like the other thing we were talking about before we went live, where you get the season pass costs, everything is in Diablo bucks, so it's like, you know, we're already doing premium currency, which is kind of then it's like you can only buy X amount, which is that kind of sucks. I thought we were done with that, but we're not. And then in the season pass, you get it costs 1,000 Diablo bucks, and you get 666 Diablo bucks back, which is like, haha, funny number. But it's like people did the math, and it's like that means if you buy the minimum amount of premium currency by the third season pass, you will end up with 998 coins of 1,000, meaning you have to pay the full amount to buy 2 coins to buy 2 Diablo bucks.
It's so
which
bad.
Is like nobody. I don't believe anyone could be that stupid to do that maliciously. If that makes that, it has to be an oversight. I don't believe nobody they just didn't think of that.
I reckon tons of people in the office caught that, and no one said anything. I bet they're all doing side eyes, like, yeah, 666, devil's number. This is great. And then like half of them are there, like awkwardly looking at their phone's calculator, like, oh, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to be the person that says anything.
yeah.
But yeah, because you don't get any currency back, I don't think, on the Battle Pass, right? For Diablo 4? The season?
Yeah. What do you mean?
How much currency do you get back? Because, like, you know, Battle Passes, you buy them for X amount of currency.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm getting confused. Okay. No, I was getting confused. No, I'm getting mixed up with something else.
You okay?
Yeah, no, I knew you understood how it worked, but then you asked that question, and I was like, how do I tell him without making him feel dumb?
No, I thought that was in-game rewards as opposed to like directly on the season pass.
No, that is 100% the season. Also, the season pass rewards are wank. The first thing you get is a red shirt in a game that's like demon slaying and like elaborate armors and stuff. You get a red shirt.
Nothing wrong with a good old red shirt. I've got a few red shirts from Superdry myself. They're all right. They're not that bad. Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say I went through the season pass, just having a look, you know, at the items, and they did look cool, but I felt like it looked very just samey across the entire thing. That was my like issue with it. It's just like it all looks the same.
It's all skulls and horns, right? And as somebody who played a necromancer in the base game, which was all skulls and horns, there wasn't really much to excite me there.
No, I also premium skulls and horns now.
Premium skulls and horns, paid for those, yeah. We talked about it a little bit a while back, but there's in this game having a cosmetic shop, versus earning stuff in game. It was incredibly disappointing to go back at the launch of season 1 and see like, look how many cool armors they've put in the game since you played. They're not earnable in game. All you can do is buy them. And it's like, oh, if you just dropped a couple of these on, you know, it said like, hey, you can find this in game now. We've just put this in. That's something to chase for people to play this season out. Like I probably wouldn't, but I would consider playing more if I knew there was more cool armor sets to chase.
Well, they've monetized, in essence, basically the most important part of the game for so many people, which is It's still kind of
Looking
odd
cool.
to me. You just want to look cool, then pay
Yeah,
up, I guess.
and it was always going to be a balance between like how much they put behind a paywall and how much they to support this live service thing and how much they just put in game. And it's like there's so much cool armor in that game. Just why don't you just add? Surely you want people to keep playing. I don't know.
No, we want people to pay. What are you talking about? I don't give a shit if they play or not. I just need to pay.
Well, it's like whenever you criticize stuff like that, there's always the people who come out of the woodwork to be like, they have teams of people who research this stuff. And I'm starting to think those teams don't exist. I'm starting to think everyone is flying by the seat of their pants. And when Valorant puts out a gun that costs £90, I don't think a team of people researched that. I think they just went, wouldn't it be cool if we made £90 off a gun skin?
you go to Riot, and you see that you go to their like Valorant offices, right? And there's a big door, it's a big sign that says important monetization meetings in progress. Do not enter when big red light is on. And you go up to it, you go to open a door, there's like 5 employees paid to be like, no, don't go in there. And you go in and it's just empty. There's just nothing there. It's all a facade. It was all a ruse.
Yeah, I don't think it's real. I just think
we have to keep up the pretense of these teams existing.
We know what we're doing,
because otherwise no one will buy them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's all a big scam.
So anyway, it's Diablo.
Diablo 4. I'm going to end it how I end every segment, just Diablo 4. Rest in peace. Taken too soon. You got anything else that you played?
I'm glad you asked. I have been playing the sequel to hit game Remnant 2. I don't know why I phrased it like that. I've been playing Remnant 2, which is like, well, I don't know how you'd even describe it. It's like a third person budget Destiny. That's how I would describe that game. It's like a third person shooter mixed with an RPG. It's a bit Dark Soulsy, and you basically run around, shoot things, collect cool loot, and the hook is that everything is like somewhat procedurally generated to the point where like if you played through your campaign, it would look significantly different to my campaign.
Does it feel randomly generated as you play?
That was one of my early problems with the game. Was it didn't lead with its best foot. The first level I went to was this like, it's a forest, but the trees are red. And I was like, oh, cool. And I was just running around in this like, and it felt very procedural. You know what I mean? It felt very like, you'd walk into an area and there was like 4 exits to it, except 2 were blocked off. So
I know exactly what you mean.
So you go this way. And I will say, I really enjoy this game. It's like the first game. It's kind of budget. It's like a AA game. It's not a AAA game.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger budget. It's higher budget this time, right, compared to the previous Remnant.
But it's still kind of jank.
Right. Okay.
I've had like the character animations are kind of stiff. I've been like stuck on geometry sometime. I've run into a couple bugs and stuff. Nothing game breaking again. Really enjoying this game.
Yeah.
But this game, it was trying to get me to hate it. The first level I went to, there was a boss which was like a giant moth which was flying around, and I shot it. And the whole thing of this game is like there's loads of secrets, and discovering stuff for yourself is like half the fun.
That's pretty cool.
It's all you'll like walk into a room, there'll be like a logic puzzle, and then you do that and it's like, oh, you found a cool alien rifle. Because the whole setup is the sort of roguelike nature of it is like you're traveling to different worlds, and every level is just a different universe. I
was going to say, it feels like it's like I'm watching like this trailer now, and like I've seen screenshots, and it always looks like the craziest sci-fi setting or horror setting, and then it's just you and like a Western dude and a knight and just a lady.
it's a cool setup to a game because it's like it starts on Earth, and at some point they discover these big stones which, when you touch them, they teleport you to another stone which is in a different universe, basically.
Okay.
And not many things can travel between it, and the big bad of the game is this kind of like sentient, it's like the cordyceps from
Last of Us.
Last of Us, where it's like a fungus growth that takes over things, but it's sentient. It has a hive mind, and that's been like traveling between worlds and sort of, everything, like corrupting everything, and that's like the antagonist. But that sort of takes a background to like, you'll end up in like, oh, it's sci-fi world, and you have to do a little mini episode with, and what it feels like is, like in Doctor Who, where he'll be like, oh, I'm in France in the 15th century, and we're solving a mystery, except there's ghosts and stuff like that. And that's what this feels like, is you'll just like, where am I now? I'm on sci-fi world, and they're talking about, oh, the planet's about to be swallowed by a black hole. How are we going to solve this? And it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
it's like
they
doing this for the next couple of hours. Neat.
They pull a big like slot machine crank and like 3 thingies spin, and it gives you a time, a location, and a theme. Yes, it's like, that's where we're going.
Literally. I've had like, there's been like sci-fi elements. There's been like rogue AIs. I did a murder mystery at one point. I visited Bloodborne World. That was fun. And it's just like, it's all procedural, so like you might not see all of that, which is cool. And all of that is like tied to it. It's like Dark Souls, where loot is always in very specific places, but like, because it's random, you might never see that place in your run through. So and it's all like co-op, so if I go and join like a friend's game and they've got a bunch of wacky stuff, and it's like, oh, you didn't do the alien train section, you didn't get the
yeah, like, what are you talking about?
orca gun from the, and you're like, no, I didn't see any of that. That sounds awesome.
This sounds cool. I don't really have much interest in this game. I was gonna like let it slip, but
yeah,
the actual
it's great fun.
Absolute. Me and Will actually played Remnant 1. I think it was both our first time playing it. We played together.
They gave it away on like Epic Game Store or something, didn't they?
Yeah, that's why we played it.
Yeah.
And it was so good.
Yeah.
Is this a direct sequel, or is it just basically just the game again? Like, don't worry about the fact that it's got a 2 attached to it.
Yeah,
you don't need to have played the first one. Yeah.
I mean,
but it's super fun. There's like classes now. You can multi-class. One has a dog. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, best class by default.
But but the thing was, this game had like a horrible first impression for me, because the very first level I went to was like this tree place. Wasn't feeling it. The first boss I fought, which was in a little side dungeon, was this moth that was like, it was doing laps of like the map, and then I was like, oh, I wonder what happens if I shot it, because that's how you interact with everything, right? In games like these, it's like, I'll shoot it, and then it turned into a boss, and I was like, that's exciting. And then the boss immediately nosedived into the ground and just got stuck on geometry, and I just mag dumped this giant moth to death. And I was like, oh, okay, that was kind of disappointing.
Did it make the Half-Life like ragdoll stuck in a wall noise? Like,
yeah, the old Gmod noise. Yeah. So that was funny. What else? I meant to make a list of this, but there's your guy, when you make a character in this game, and you can choose like male, female, and there's also a bunch of voices. And so I don't know if this is just a problem with the voice that I picked, but the guy I'm playing as is a fucking idiot, like to the point where it winds me up, because it's like I'm role playing as like Tim Allen or something. Because everything is so grandiose. Yeah, everything's so grandiose. It's like you'll go into a room and something will be like, I have gazed into the eternity. I know everything. I know what will happen and what has come to pass and what will be. And then my character, it like smash cuts to my character, who looks at the camera and goes like, sounds like my mother-in-law. And it's like, shut up.
Okay. because I love that. Do you not like that?
No, I hate it.
Because that was one of the main reasons that I loved Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy. Because it was that guy just going like chaos and just interrupting antagonists whilst monologuing and just shouting like random shit that makes no sense. I love that stuff.
I'm selling it better. It doesn't sound intentional. It just sounds completely like tone deaf.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And also, I think this was a bug because I played one day's early access and then there was a patch, like a hotfix on launch day. But in the night, I didn't notice this. I didn't notice this once the patch had gone live. But your character has a lot of like incidental dialogue, and this game, and it specifically, it has dialogue for when you start combat and when you end combat.
Right.
And you're starting and ending combat a lot in this game. And my guy was like, he'd just be like, oh boy, here we go. And then I'd shoot one thing and he'd be like, oh, I'm so glad that's all over. Oh my God, that was close. And then run 5 meters and he'd be like, what is that? Oh, here we go again. And it's
like cutting off his own dialogue.
Shut up. He just won't shut up.
Those are the kind of things that make something feel AA over AAA,
yes.
like you were saying.
Yeah.
There's lots of little things like that where the game feels like it needs maybe another half a year to a year of polish that the game couldn't afford to have. So this is what you get. Yeah,
this is they can't they got to get out of the way of like Starfield and stuff like that. So we're launching now, and whatever's in is in. So it's like lots of little things like that which they don't spoil the game, but it's just like this needed like another couple months of just like, hey, maybe the guy just doesn't talk all the time. It's just don't need to.
That sounds
Did they even talk that much in Remnant 1?
Yeah, I don't remember that being a problem in Remnant 1.
It's like you finally get a budget for voice actors and you go way too far with it because you're too excited.
Yeah.
So you just put voices everywhere, even though you don't need them.
yeah, because they paid for all these.
Yeah,
so
I'm going to
use them. Yeah,
I paid for this one voice line. I'm going to get maximum usage out of this voice line.
Yeah,
like it sounds ridiculous when he says it every 5 seconds, right? It's like I don't care. It's the first time I've ever had this budget, and I'm going to use it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
This game's super fun. It's so creative as well. There's so much cool stuff in this game, and they do fun stuff with it because you're playing through a campaign, but at any point you can it's called like re-rolling. You can start the campaign again, basically, keep your character and go through it and do different things and see different things. So it means there's like a lot of there's a lot of fun stuff with like, you make lots of choices. Like the first level was like, well, we have to kill this demon, right? He's a baddie. And then you go to the demon and he's like, what if we just work together instead? Like, I know you want to kill me, but what if we were just chums? And then you can just make a choice, and then you get different loot, and different stuff happens in the story. And then if you don't like it, you just roll it again. It's cool.
I feel like because they gave away the first one on the Epic Store, I do want to play this at some point, but I'm not dying for it. So I'll be like, okay, I'll check it out in like a year's time or something.
Yeah, and it's a shame because this would be. I think the first one we played because of Game Pass, and I almost thought this was a Game Pass game because I know we say this a lot, but this would be a perfect Game Pass game.
It feels like right up the alley, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's co-op. It's kind of budget, but it's super fun. And if you could, it would be way easier to convince 2 friends to buy Game Pass than buy a full game. So
we'll have to.
But it's fun.
We'll loop back around to it in the future if we can all get a copy of it somehow. A lot easier.
Yeah.
All right, and Sam, what have you been doing?
I have, off the back of Atelier Marie from last week, I went back and played Atelier Nelke, which is the city builder. You
did mention this last week.
Yeah, I've had, because the last one that just came out, the remake, blah blah on Steam, was a sandbox game. I've really got that urge to go and play, just like what should be a comfy big sandbox.
It should be
city builder. No, I've been sweating playing this. Like you're supposed to you have restrictions on what you can do each day and everything, and it's like, in Stardew Valley, right?
Yeah.
You play Stardew Valley, it's pretty chill. You don't really need to worry about the days going by and everything, right? There's no time restrictions. But if you've got energy left, you gotta spend it. You know what I mean?
Right, I'm gonna ask you, just in the broadest sense, just get like an overview. What is the actual loop of this? Is it an RPG like the others, or is it purely city builder?
This is purely. This is 90% city builder.
90% city builder. Okay.
Yeah.
Only 90. You went down there.
It does have RPG combat.
Yeah.
You make the cities fight each other.
So basically, it's like it has a day system. Think of it almost like a day-night system. I mean, it's weekday, weekend is how they play it.
Right. Okay.
During the weekday, you can tell your people if they're in a shop what to sell, if they're on a farm what to harvest. If you sent them out to explore, you tell them what to gather. And if they're an alchemist, and this is an alchemist only, because you manage tons of people, not just alchemists.
Okay.
But alchemists can do everything. Everyone else can do everything but alchemy, essentially.
Okay.
So alchemists, you put them in their little shop, and you can tell them to make, and it's based on a points system. So different alchemists do different things, but you basically tell them to make stuff each day, and that they take the resources harvested from the farms and gathered by the people out to make stuff that is sold in the shops, essentially.
Yeah.
That is the generic gameplay loop. And every week you can build 2 new buildings in your land.
Your fantasy
that
world.
has very limited space. And then you've also got a balance, everything has a cost, and that's where selling all your stuff comes in the shops. And then everyone and their mum keeps giving you requests saying, I think you should make apple tarts. And you go, but they're the 3rd worst item for me to make right now.
No, I want them though.
But if I make these and sell these, I get friendship points. And friendship with all of the people is tied to your research, which is what unlocks things. Because when everyone's happy, they research. It's like a requirement. You've got to get everyone's friendship levels up. But I've played this game before, right?
Yeah.
I basically got to the end. I didn't actually. No, I did hit credits, but I didn't do New Game Plus because this game has a whole extra, playthrough bonuses and do different bits.
Yeah.
But I had knowledge, right, going in.
So man's prepared going into his anime scene builder.
I went in and I'm on day 39 of I think 100, and I am on the second to last quest already. And there's 10 main story missions you have to complete in your 100 days, and they all have time limits. But if you finish one early, that time left over gets added to your next one.
Oh, so it's not Persona rules where you have to wait a week or 2 weeks or whatever before
it's
you can move on.
You finished it, cool. You get that little bit extra on your next one. It's like a reward for finishing the job early.
Give me an example of a main story thing. Is it like you were saying, where it's just I want X amount of Y or?
So for example, one of them is sell enough items to have made 100,000 gold.
Right. Okay.
And do this in 15 days or something.
It gives me roller coaster tycoon vibes in a weird way, where you would build a theme park, and it was here's your missions for this park: get X amount of people in, get these bars, happiness, hunger, whatever, to be a certain amount of level, and just balance things, and then
absolutely,
yeah.
And then as you like develop and research more stuff, you unlock more areas, which means you can build more things.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've got to the point where I'm on the second to last mission, and it's like, ooh, make 500 gold purely with selling groceries, and 500 gold selling purely weapons. And it's like, you've got 30 days. And I'm like, it will take me 4. Like, this game wasn't ready for me.
You come in with a secret knowledge of New Game Plus on your first playthrough, plus knowing what you're like with these sorts of games, just blitz it in 4 days in game time.
Can you imagine? It's like if a president of a country or a head of a country came in, like Sam did, into a game he has previous knowledge of, and it's like, this guy fixed our infrastructure in like 4 days flat. How's he doing this?
GDP, complete it, mate.
But yeah, on the weekends, that's when you like, you get to spend time with your friends and level up your friendship, and it's got inside that day system. It also has like spending time with this person takes 2 of your 12 nuggets of time or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then that's also when you go to explore new lands, because you have to explore areas first before you can send people out to gather from that zone.
Yeah.
And that's where the RPG element comes in, because you have to explore it, and normally that means anywhere from 1 to 3 fights.
Okay.
And then you finish that zone. So you're also like leveling up your guys as well, which is means a lot less, but it's still like, if you have to do it.
It's still part of the game.
It's not a main aspect.
You can't ignore it. Yeah.
But yeah, you can't ignore it. And it's just been really fun to go like really hardcore. Because normally what would happen is you would set up your people to be like, right, well, we're selling 6 of this item, so you tell an alchemist to make 6 of them. And then you make sure that you're harvesting and gathering enough so that it's all self-sufficient, right?
Yeah.
But you start getting to the point where you get bonuses. Like, you have little fairies that help your alchemists, and it's like, you have a 50% chance to make 2 of this item instead of 1. And stuff like that. So what happens is you get 10 shops all making 1 item each, because each individual item has a chance to become 2 if you only make 1. So you're making all of these things and basically going, not let RNG take the wheel, but you make enough to fulfill you now, and then you see how many extra you made, so the next day you make less, so you've got more space to make other stuff. Because I know what's coming, so I know what I need to make.
I hope any listeners listening, I hope you're writing this down. These are like prime strats, by the way.
And it's really funny when you get a quest and it's like, important quest, 10 days, I need this stuff, and I'm like, already completed.
You pull it out the cupboard.
Like, Barn B, like...
You mean this? 10,000 red berry pies?
Yeah, it's really fun. And then because when you play it casually, it's actually, because I remember my first playthrough, it gets a bit rough to actually like finish all your side objectives and try managing everyone, keep telling you like, oh man, you should grow some purple grapes, and you're like, I don't need purple grapes.
I just love all these really intense time restraint games and hard RPGs just locked behind the cutesiest anime games that you've ever seen. There's something just hilariously ironic about that.
Yeah. It did make me want to play Resetia, which is almost the original capitalism game.
You've done those, right?
People know. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And my only issue with Resetia is it's a like action dungeon crawler.
Yeah, it's not all shop stuff, is it? You have to do the other bits.
Whereas in this, like, the only combat I have to do is turn-based RPG. So again,
and even that is not much. And even that is not much of it. So you can just get back to your shops.
It also has an auto button, so you can just, if you really don't care, you just set it to auto, and it'll, as long as it's not a boss. And even then, like, it's not trying to be hard with the combat. It just needs to be there. as a medium.
Yeah, something just to change up the pace every so often, just to
otherwise
split it up.
there'd be no reason as to why you couldn't just send out everyone all at once kind of deal.
No, it breaks it up and makes sense.
Yeah.
What's after this? You going into even more Alchemist games?
See, it's this thing. I only had the feeling to play this because I really had that like city builder sandboxy itch.
I get that.
As far as Ateliers series goes, I have played every single one available to me and finished them. So
even like PS2 emulated ones.
Oh no, that's what I mean by available to me. I'm not going to go back and play not really bad, but old.
When I was looking up the Atelier games, because I was like, if I'm going to play Rise or whatever, I want to see like what people say about like where to start. And I found some old Reddit thread of, even though the Riser games and a bunch of other ones were like out on Steam and stuff, this Reddit thread was like, definitely start by emulating this old PS2 one from 2006. And I was like, you are insane. Abandon this thread as quickly as possible. No good's going to come from this thread.
But I don't know. I've still had to juggle this with Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight is still very much got its grasp on me.
Did you buy Nick Cage?
I probably will at some point. I've got enough leveling to do as it is at the moment.
He costs a little bit more than I thought he would, which I do get because he has a shitload of voice lines.
In game, he's actually the same full price as everyone else.
Oh, what?
The Aura sells.
Really? What is that, like 500?
500, yeah. Obviously, everyone's normally on sale, but at full price, everyone is normally 500 Aura cells, right? And he is that price.
Yeah, because Nick Cage in the Steam store, I'm pretty sure, was $7.99.
Yeah.
He comes with another outfit, I think, but that was why. Let me find it. Steam DVD Nick Cage. Yeah, I think if he's that price in game, I'll definitely buy him that way. Yeah, $7.99.
500 Aura cells.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure if you get the Aura cells pack, if you buy Aura cells, it's like £7.50 for 1,000.
Yeah, that's not bad then, because I have leftover ones just from doing the battle pass. So that's good. I didn't know that. That's really good. I'll get it that way instead. Yeah, I need to get back into DVD at some point. I think I'll probably wait for. I'll boot it up soon because there's just been a new. What do they call them? Tomes. New
battle pass.
Yeah, new battle pass.
It's a new. When is that out? Or is it already out?
It's already out. It's count today.
Oh, Josh, why have you done this?
Nick Cage.
I didn't know.
Nick Cage just dropped. The new tome just dropped as well, and I think it's based around the Singularity as like some of the main skins. They always do that. The new killer normally gets a lot of new skins in whatever new battle pass comes out.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Survivor stuff will be that Gabriel guy as well.
Yeah, I think there's some Gabriel stuff. I'm going to assume there might be something for Nick Cage in there. I don't know. I have to just wait and see. But yeah. I know that I thought you could only get him this way, and that he cost more because of his voice lines, because he's got a shitload of voice lines. Not sure if you've heard them.
Yes. No, and only the person playing Nick Cage hears them. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really? I was kind of hoping that at least other survivors would hear
I've not heard another Nick Cage, and I played with a couple. But I could just be like, it's Dead by Daylight. I'm not focusing on Nick Cage. You can hear him scream because of the perk, but that's about it.
That'd be so busted if, like, as the killer, you could hear his voice lines. Like, you're looking for the survivors, and you just hear like during a turn, like behind a wall.
Just a really muffled, like,
oh, I'm hiding in a locker. I hope he doesn't find me. Oh, I'm Nick Cage. I'm in a locker. Oh, right.
Yes, I love this game. Although there is a distinct lack of killers at the moment because everyone is playing Nick Cage.
Last I heard, the Onryo, who is obviously the lady from The Ring, got a big change, and before it launched, it was changed again, and everyone was saying, "Oh God, they've nerfed her. She's gonna be shit." And her new change is apparently really strong, and she's really fun and kind of
apparently a lot of people are having fun.
Yeah, so need to try her at some point because I've got her unlocked as well. But yeah, anything else you played or? Is it my turn?
No. I mean, barely struggle to find time with them at the moment.
That's fair enough.
But
I've been dabbling across a few little things across the week. I'm still playing RuneScape 3. I'm still having a lot of fun with that, playing that really casually.
When you say still, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you mentioned this.
I don't think I did. I said, okay, I've been playing it so lightly that I don't think it's ever like bared mentioning.
Yeah, because okay, so I bring this up because it shocked me because obviously we were talking about like the map markers and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, Josh is playing RuneScape 3, and B, when you were playing RuneScape, you were playing old school.
Yeah, so with old school in particular, I was going for quest cape, which for anyone that knows anything about RuneScape, that's just doing every quest, basically. Which sounds easy, but some of the later quests have such high requirements. It can be a bit of a slog. I was really enjoying old school until I had to do the next quest. Needed 70 mining, I think it was, and I was like 50 mining, and I started it, and it was so boring. I just couldn't do it. Mining in old school, if anyone doesn't know, is literally clicking the same rock or alternate rocks over and over again. You can't AFK it or anything. You just do it over and over. You fill up an inventory, and then you run to a bank, which takes some X amount of time, empty it, go back, over and over. It's so boring. You do that for what, like, I think I needed something like 15 hours or something. I was like, I'm not doing this. It's just so boring. So,
sorry.
Go for it.
It's funny you describing one part of RuneScape as boring versus a different part of RuneScape as boring. You know, when you're like, man, mining's so boring. All you do is click on a rock and you fill up a bar, and it's like, bro, that's all of RuneScape. What are you talking about?
Well, so the way I kind of angle it is, I played old school for a really long time, right? I was always talking about it, and my entire duration of playing old school, I was doing quests for quest cape, and I was following. There's a certain route you can take by doing certain quests in certain orders, where because quests will give you experience as rewards, there is a path you can take where
so you have to do any grinding.
You have to do a little bit here and there, especially towards the end. But for the most part, you can literally go bang, 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 and knock out all these quests and you know, there's good story there. There's some fun stuff. And as soon as I got to the actual grinding of old school, I was like, "No, I'm done. I'm out." So that got thrown in the bin. And I got really excited for it. There's a new quest, I think, released today in old school. Desert Treasure 2. Desert Treasure 2. Also has not insane requirements, but just requirements above what I have. So I can't do that one either. Maybe I'll push for it at some point, but I'm not dying to. I'll watch the YouTube videos from all my favourite content creators, because they'll all do videos about this new quest, because it's been years in the making. But anyway, so I moved to, I think at one point, I think Steve was talking about RuneScape 3, and then obviously with Blunt's job, the topic was just RuneScape 3 for a while. So
it's difficult to. I've booted it up a couple times. Yeah, it's just difficult to escape that atmosphere at the moment, isn't it?
So, it was literally everywhere. So I've been playing that casually, and like I said, I've been playing it so casually. It's been like, as I get games through the post, renting them, or you know, something new comes out. Whenever there's a little bit of, I finish something, waiting for the next thing, I've been booting up RuneScape 3 and doing a quest here and there. And I've just membered up in RuneScape 3 for the first time. I've basically done what I can do in free-to-play. I could continue to do skills in free-to-play, but it's kind of boring the way you do it in free-to-play. And, you know, I'd rather just member and have more fun with it, even if I only do it for 1 month or whatever. So, didn't intend to talk about RuneScape for this long, but yeah, I've been playing a little bit of RuneScape. Necromancy comes out really soon. Excited to check that out. I'll probably talk about that more when it actually comes out, but yeah, doing that. Been playing Pikmin 4 as well. I think I'm maybe like halfway, 2/3 through. I'll talk about it next week more. But that game is really, really good. I can't wait to talk about that. What I did play this week, it was something really short, but I really enjoyed it. It was, I don't think I told you guys about it. It's a game called ViewFinder. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I keep meaning to check this out. Yeah.
Yeah, so this came out on the 18th. So it's still pretty new. This is going to be really hard to describe for people that are listening and can't see the video.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do the best I can here. It's very similar to... So first of all, it's a first-person puzzle game. There's no weapons or anything. You just walk around in the first-person perspective. If you've played anything like The Witness or Portal or...
Talos Principle?
I guess, yeah, but Talos. If you ever played... what's the other one? Superliminal?
Oh, yeah, Superliminal. Yeah.
Superliminal is the most relatable one to what this is. So this is...
what this is.
Yeah, so this is It's called ViewFinder, which obviously from the name you can take that it's about sort of pictures, camera and perspective and stuff. And the gimmick of this game, what the entire thing is based around, is you can take pictures with a camera and you can hold up the picture of what you've taken and then almost project in 3D space in front of you that picture. So again, you can kind of see in the video that's playing, if you're watching along, kind of what I'm talking about. Where this guy has a picture of a wall, you spin the picture around, and you can make like a bridge out of it, and it projects it into 3D space in front of you. The tech in this game, whatever they're doing to make it work, is absolutely insane. It is so impressive. I don't know how they do it. It's crazy. It's magic. Because you do certain things as well, where you can see in the video where it's like pixely or it's like different art styles. You can get different pictures with different art styles. You hold up a picture in front of you of a field with, say, a windmill on it. You press the button, and then you move slightly, and it's just there in front of you, and you can go inside it, and you can look at everything. It's absolutely, like, it's just mindfuckery. It's pure mindfuckery. But the whole game is based around that idea, right? And again, I attribute it to something like Portal or something, or like The Witness, where you have this one idea, right? This one game mechanic. How far can you stretch? That one idea. And they do some really cool stuff with it. So there's lots of perspective stuff. This picture here in particular, for anyone that can see, you have like an image of like it's almost like a fake screenshot from Mega Man. You hold it up, you press left click, you activate it, and then you move slightly, and it's just there in front of you, and you can go inside this like Mega Man level now that you've put into 3D space in front of you. That's not like a puzzle solution. It's just like a little Easter egg, like a gimmick thing. But every time you do it, it's so impressive because it's just so crazy the way it works. I think Valve said at one point for like a Portal sequel, they were messing with this sort of idea, but it never went anywhere. But this game has done it instead. But yeah, the way it will do puzzles is like you'll be on a platform, say just like the simplest of puzzles, you're on a platform, and there's a gap between where you need to go. So you can say, look at a pillar in front of you, take a picture of it, and then project it down and make like a bridge out of that pillar and things like that. And then as you get further through the game, as I say, they get a bit like weirder with the mechanics. This, if you're watching the video now, this is a good example of what I'm talking about. Like there's a gap here, and take a picture of the floor, hold it up, make a weird 3D space platform. It's so cool. So yeah, they do.
So clever.
It's so clever. They do lots of cool like little things where there's one here of like lining up different elements to make a 3D projected like level end.
Oh, the like RGB. Photo. Oh, that's cool. What
they do here. So if I'm going to replay a bit of the video so you can see. There's a fence in the way. So what they do, they take a picture of the sky, hold it in front of the fence that you can't get past, project it, bam, fence is gone. Walk through. It's so cool. It is
And
so
the wall.
cool.
Got rid of everything.
Oh yeah, can you like fuck yourself like really easily?
You can, yeah. So one big part of the game is there's just a rewind button, and
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah,
okay.
hold it down to rewind. Double press to rewind to the last significant thing you did, like where you took a picture or you projected something into the world.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
And each camera has limited uses, right?
Yeah, so it does a really good job at sort of ramping up. When you start the game, you don't have the camera. You start with, here's a picture on a table, one picture. Use this picture to solve the puzzle. So you're like, okay, that gives you an idea of how to do it. And then it works off of that. And then you get the camera where you can take pictures and do it that way. And then eventually you get things like a camera that removes whatever you take a picture of. So far you're just copying stuff, right? You take a picture of something, you copy it, use it again. Later you start removing stuff from the world. So you've got to think about what you're removing as well as what you're placing down, which is really cool. You also get certain puzzles where certain things you take pictures of won't get copied into the picture. So you've got to think about that as well. Because again, if you're removing stuff and adding stuff, but some stuff will stay, some stuff will remain, like cages or fences we were talking about, like fences will stay. So how do you get around this fence? It's very tricky. It's, again, I feel like you kind of know if you like this kind of thing or not.
Yeah.
I've got nothing else really to say about that. It's very cool. The only other thing I'll say.
What's up with the cat?
The cat is, so that's the only other thing really, is this game does have like a story to like pull you, reason to pull you through these levels.
Yeah.
I found it very surface. I would have preferred.
It's just there. Like, it's just an excuse.
It's indie game. The story. It's like, it's two people talking at you. The cat talks. Oh, the theme is like climate change and global warming.
Right.
And they touch upon that, but it's I would have. This game could have given me a menu with a level select, and I would have been just as happy. Yeah. This game's great. Absolutely love this game. I think you'll know if you like this game already from what I've said.
It's like you can. I knew this was like it's such a strong idea because it's like you can see one GIF of this thing in action of like taking a picture of a floor and making a platform and being like, okay, I get it. 100%. I understand. Yeah.
It's like I said, it's the hardest thing to describe.
Yeah.
But once you see it, you're like, okay, I understand this. And the more you play around with it, and the more it like explains itself, and it layers on these different depths to this one mechanic, I just found myself getting just amazed every time it happened.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I will say is like caveat with these sorts of games is I didn't absolutely love it. It's kind of pricey for its playtime. So I feel like that happens a lot with these games. Unfortunately, you kind of buy into the theme and you got to really like the mechanics and stuff. I think it's about 20 quid. Yeah, 20 quid. It lasts about 3 to 4 hours for me from start to finish. That's up to you whether or not that's worth it. Not the worst.
Not too bad.
It's not the worst. I highly recommend it. I had a great time with it. But for some people, that would be a bit too much. I think it has a demo.
It was in Steam Next Fest.
Yeah, have a look for a demo because that will do a really good job at telling you whether or not you're into this. But yeah, absolutely love this game. It was supposed to be just like a little bit of filler between like when Pikmin arrived.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. And I think it's always great to see, such clever ideas coming out of indie games like this, because you never see these sorts of things, I feel, with AAA games, right?
Yeah.
They only pop up in these sorts of things. So yeah, check this out. If you like the idea, but you don't want to pay 20 quid, like I said, check out like The Witness and things like that. I think they're also very cool puzzle games that are first person. That do
Witness, man. That messed me up.
A Witness is amazing. For games that do one mechanic. Yeah. Just like, how many weird things can I do with this mechanic?
They stretch that to the absolute limit as well, don't they?
The Witness is insane. So The Witness is what is it? It's like it's about a dot and tracing a line with a dot, basically. Which sounds so simple, but then you fast forward 10 hours into The Witness, and you're looking at the sun, like connecting the sun through clouds and like weird shit. Like you're looking at reflections. And, that game's crazy. I love that game. A lot of people don't like that game. I don't know why. I really like Witness.
Well, I think you said it's like same as ViewFinder, right? You boot up Witness, you do the first puzzle, and you're like, I liked that. I want more. Or I didn't like that. I am turning it off now.
Is that it? Turn it off.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I played really. Okay, we'll get on some new stuff then. There's a few like little news stories this week, so we'll have a look, see what we can find. The big one, or one of the big ones, was the Diablo stuff that we already covered. So we won't retread that. The rest of them aren't really, I feel, big news stories. It's just some cool stuff has been shown this week that I think is really cool. I'm going to start with, I don't think it's probably not the biggest to a lot of people, but I thought it was really cool. So I'm going to start with this one. It's the Mortal Kombat 1 DLC pack.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'll fast forward the video a little bit. A lot of this was leaked, but I think it's just really cool to see. It's the DLC pack for Mortal Kombat 1, which, not to be confused, Mortal Kombat 1 is the new one coming out. And there's 6 new characters, but the 3 that people are obviously aiming towards are Omniman from Invincible, PeaceMaker from PeaceMaker, and Homelander from The Boys. Which I love this so much. What do you guys think of this? I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, they're like perfect inclusions, right? I mean, it's when they did the leaks.
Yeah.
And you said I don't think, did they ever say Omni-Man? I thought it was just...
I think at some point we might have missed it, but I think they said Omni-Man.
Yeah, because I remember them saying Homelander and PeaceMaker, and we were like, yep, that's perfect. But I guess, Omni-Man also, perfect sense. I like that they're doing this, like, I don't know what you call it, they are anti-heroes, but they're not anti-heroes.
I know what you mean. They're like, what do you call them? They're like, not even like secret villains, because that doesn't make sense either. I don't know what I know what you mean. Peacemaker's not inherently evil, is he? I don't know anything about him.
He is actually an anti-hero.
Right.
He's trying to do good, he's just not very good at it. And then Omni-Man is
Omniman is Omniman.
Kind of, he's a villain, kind of.
Yeah.
And then Homelander's like just straight up a villain, isn't he?
It's a cool thing, though.
It's cool. Do they have are they getting I mean, I imagine they must, but are they getting the voice actors for those 3?
I believe so, yeah. I've already heard, I know, what's his name? J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, yeah.
Is reprising Omni-Man. Mortal Kombat seems to always have the money to do these things. Out of previous DLC, the only voice actor they couldn't get back in, I believe, was Arnie for the Terminator.
Yeah, he's busy.
I literally, I think I don't even think it's money. It's probably like a time thing.
Yeah.
But they got back. I can't remember who is RoboCop, but they got back RoboCop. I believe. Did they get Stallone? I can't remember if they got Sylvester Stallone for Rambo. But they're normally good, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. They're normally pretty good.
I find it so funny that you've got like 3 characters that look like they should be in Mortal Kombat, and then those 3.
Well, the 3 of them, it's like it's half and half, right? It's like half guests and half returning characters, and they always do this. They always keep like some of the popular characters for DLC.
Yeah.
You've got what's his name? Quan Chi is on the left. He's like the weird voodoo-looking man.
I read a lot of people were very mad at Ermac's redesign. No one liked Ermac.
Ermac has somehow gotten worse and worse looking with every single game, to the point where I thought he was Collector in this trailer. Which, if I find a picture of the Collector,
it was the guy with the 6-armed guy.
Collector,
I remember him.
Mortal Kombat. Yeah, here he is.
I think it's funny that they have Injustice, right?
Yeah.
And Hold on, am I getting this? And Peacemaker is DC, so he would slot right in, and then Homelander and Omniman are just they're evil superheroes, so they would fit right into Injustice. And I wonder if this stuff is like, because
Injustice 3 leftover assets.
That's why. Yeah, exactly what I'm going for. Yeah, was there like an Injustice 3 somewhere that got canned or something, and they're like, well, we've got all these superhero models. How do we get Superman in Mortal Kombat without making it Superman? Like,
my thought went to there's the loose theme of like comic book / TV heroes, right, or anti-villains, whatever you want to call them. Where is Peacemaker? How do you watch Peacemaker? Because what I'm trying to get here is both The Boys and Invincible are Amazon TV shows, right? Because my first thought was this like some weird, like they made a deal with Amazon to use Amazon Prime TV show characters or something.
Oh, right. But then Peacemaker is.
That's what I'm asking. I don't know where he is. Because that's what I first thought.
Paramount? Is it a Paramount Plus show? Maybe? I'm not sure.
But yes, Ermac, looks worse and worse every game. I think the last game he was in, he was like some weird space wizard. And now in this, he's some weird mummy wizard. And everyone's just like, look, I just want the red ninja back from the originals. Like, why's he got to be weird mummy dude?
Yeah.
Takeda's also the guy on the right. Has been highly requested for ages.
He was in 9? He was in 10. He's in right
10. I think he's Kenshi's son. He's part of the MK Kids.
Where he is the MK Kid. Yeah.
Because you had MKX, one of the MKX, which is 10. The big thing was like, hey, here's Johnny Cage's daughter, and here's Jax's daughter, and here's like MK Kids basically.
And then nobody liked them, so they were just gone.
Well, they kept bringing back arguably the less popular ones. It was really weird because Takeda I thought was really cool. I really liked Takeda. I do like the other ones, but he was always the most interesting, and he just never came back. And here he is as DLC. Because you've got Cassie Cage. It's really good. I really like her. That's like Johnny Cage's sassy daughter.
Oh, is she still in? Is she? Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's still in. And what's Jackie Briggs, who is Jax's daughter? She's still in it, I think. But yeah, I think the best thing that will come from this DLC is just all the voice lines and stuff. Because if you did you play 11?
No, I played 10. I was meant to play 11, but I never got around to it.
11 is really good in regards to like fan service stuff, because before every fight you get these really cool quips between the two fighters, and they're all custom between every fighter. It's insane the amount that there is.
The John Cena, J.K. Simmons,
exactly. Yeah,
warm up banter is going to be fantastic. Yeah,
because there's so many of them. They always sometimes get like oddly meta as well.
Yeah,
like I wouldn't be surprised if during one of Omniman's quips he makes like a Whiplash drumming reference or something. Or like a Spiderman. like 100%.
Yeah.
So that would be really, really good. I'd love to see that. And then just Homelander.
I love everything about Mortal Kombat but the game.
Yeah, I'm exactly. I know.
I'm exactly
the same now. Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I love it so.
I will watch a video of like any story mode or like all the quips between all the characters, all the fatalities. But you cannot get me to watch an actual match of Mortal Kombat.
I'm the same.
I like a lot of fighting games, but I think Mortal Kombat is my least favorite to actually play. It's just, it feels really weird and janky. But then, compared to all fighting games, I would argue it's got the best production. I think, even better than Street Fighter, maybe? I love Street Fighter. But it's just something about the amount of attention and love that goes into all these voice lines.
Yeah.
All the cutscenes, all the animations between all these characters. It's just really cool. I mean, every 4 months, I'm always going into YouTube and looking up compilations of, like Sam says, like fatalities or intros,
Yeah.
outros, because they're so good. They're just so good. So yeah.
Okay. So Omniman, the Homelander, PeaceMaker, first wave. Who do you get in after this
We've got to
first?
get the turtles
first
back
wave.
in.
Oh, the Turtles were Injustice.
They were in Injustice
they
because I was
Injustice.
thinking Hellboy, but he was also in
Injustice,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Injustice already got all the big headliners. I don't really know who else.
I don't know. I think if you follow,
Like a oh fuck, what are they called? Like Watchmen, like one of the Watchmen.
yeah, Watchmen would be really good. Like
Rorschach,
Rorschach would be the most obvious one, I think.
Whatever, Mr. Manhattan,
Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah, his fatality is just he just looks at you, waves his hand, and blows you up.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, Watchmen would be a really good one. If we're doing like anti-heroes and it's like Wave 2 DLC towards the end of the game's life, just fuck it, put in Walter White. Like, why not? Just chuck him in there. He throws out bags of crystal meth that explode. He counts. He 100% counts. I'd like to see.
Not Walter White. Put the old guy, Mike. Put Mike in.
Put Mike in there. Put in Hector.
One of those things where I'm trying to think of realistic, because like, obviously my head, I can't get Deadpool out of my head. Is like a character that would suit the universe.
Yeah,
but is a good one. But Marvel,
that's never going to happen, right?
Yeah,
well, not never, but you know, I would bet money it would happen.
I'm pretty sure it was one of the Injustices, and they talked about doing a Marvel crossover, and they said Marvel and Disney just absolutely will not sign off ever on them being in doing and receiving fatalities to their comic book characters.
That's always the issue. That's always the
0%,
issue, which is just that they're happy to put in whatever character they want, but the people who own the original properties have to be happy with their character getting decapitated, gutted, every bone broken, etc., etc.
Because there's so much. If you go Marvel, there's like Blade, Wolverine. There's so many good ones you could put in, but like it's just not going to happen.
No, yeah.
Basically, we just need a new Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah.
Oh my god, don't, because Evo is in like a week and a half, and I could be given enough copium to think that a Marvel vs. Capcom game is coming. If you tell me enough, I'll start believing it. I'll do it. Oh, speaking of Marvel stuff, there was another sort of, like I said, it's the week of just sort of cool stuff being shown. There was a new story trailer for Spider-Man 2. Did either of you two see this? Because I thought this was really cool.
I did not. I feel like they've been putting out Spider-Man trailers for...
Yeah,
there's one a week for the last 8 months.
So I try not to see too much.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It feels like this was a really cool trailer. It's like 2 minutes long. It's a story trailer, just like a rough... I think people already know like what's coming. Like the first ever trailer showed a lot of stuff when they first announced it, but it's just... This is kind of cementing it for me now that, like, holy shit, this game is really close now. It's like a few months away.
Yeah.
And then the more I see this stuff, I start remembering the first game, because it's been ages now since I finished Spider-Man on PS4. I'm just ready. I'm just so ready for more.
Why did they fuck up Peter Parker though? What happened there?
So
that's the only thing. No, whenever I see him in a cutscene now, I'm like, ooh.
Why? So what happened is, I think the guy's name it's Yuri something. Yuri Lenenthal, I think, is the voice actor for Spider-Man in these games. Mm-hmm. And when they originally made Spider-Man PS4, they obviously modeled Peter Parker a certain way. And then when they moved on to Miles Morales and the PS5 remake of the first game, they wanted like better facial mocap. So the new Peter Parker actually looks a lot like the voice actor now.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. Because in my opinion, I agree. I vastly prefer the original Peter's face. He looked a bit old, which was kind of odd, but I still liked it. I thought it was a really good looking Peter Parker. But this is just the reality of it, right? This is just how it is.
Yeah, fair enough. And I guess it's easier for that guy to be like, look, accredited Work on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yuri Lowenthal's eating pretty good right now. You don't need to worry about him.
Oh, is he? What else has he done?
What was he's
What's his
Street Fighter 6.
He's in Spider-Man.
I don't know how you spell his name.
Yeah.
Is it Lowenthal?
Lowenthal, yeah.
Oh no, sorry, I'm thinking of.
No, he's in Arcane. He's in Arcane apparently, and Ben 10 and the Swan Princess.
Whoa! God, he's in Redfall. He's fine. Don't worry about it.
He's eating well.
The guy that took over from Yuri Lowenthal as Oh, why is my brain failing me?
Brain don't work
right now.
It's age, Sam. I'm getting that.
Right. Lowenthal was the voice actor for Persona 3 protagonist. And he acted Yosuke as Persona 4. Yes.
Oh, really? Oh, right.
I love Yosuke.
And I remembered the name because there's a new voice actor for Persona 3 Remake. And obviously the guy's taken over from Yuri Lowenthal, who's a very accomplished voice actor.
Yeah. God, yeah,
and
he's in everything.
The guy taking over from him is the guy that voices Street Fighter 6's new poster boy. I can't remember his name.
Luke.
Yeah.
Oh, it's getting confusing now. Even I'm confused. We go around.
He's this, but this, but this. Because I'm not confused now. Yuri Lowenthal was very, very accomplished. Yeah. He's tiny.
I was just looking through his IMDb, and it said he was in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and I was like, "Oh my god, no way! Who did he play?" And he plays Insomniac Spider-Man. I was like, "Oh yeah,
right. Oh, of course,
that does make sense." I was like, I don't know why I'm surprised. Like, who else is he going to play?
I need to watch that. I watched first Spider-Verse movie the other night. It was one of those I had nothing to do, so I put it on in the background while I was like working on stuff, and it's like that film is so good. I just dropped everything I was doing. I found myself I'm just watching a film now. Like,
yeah, we saw the newer one. Was it Into the Spider-Verse at the cinema? We went to like a bougie cinema. And we sat down, had these really good seats, and just the experience was amazing of that movie.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's almost like a meme of like, oh, every screenshot is like a screensaver background. It's so pretty, but it's like literally that movie looks insane.
Film was incredible.
It is absolutely insane, that movie. So yeah, highly recommend that. Is it out yet?
Talk about taking in an idea and.
I just
running with it.
Yeah, going with it. Yeah,
I just think, like, the people working on those Spider-Verse movies, in my opinion, are just the most talented artists in that industry. Yeah. It's just so pretty, that movie from start to finish. I heard apparently production and development of that movie was insane, as in insanely bad. Which is kind of a shame. Because yeah. You know, all the talks about,
I hate that. Damn it.
I know. Yeah, it's like anything where we always talk about like The Last of Us, whatever, and like, you know, other games that get crunched. And it's like, oh, these games are so amazing and they're so pretty. How do they do it? And then you look up, it's like, oh yeah, it's because they're all under horrific work conditions. That kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely see that movie. I don't need to tell you to see it. You'll see it anyway when it comes out. But
yeah,
amazing movie.
I went and saw it, and I haven't actually seen the first one.
Oh really?
Really?
It came out, and I was like,
Sam, do you want my Disney Plus? I don't mind.
That's the issue, though, bro. I don't watch stuff. Like, I had every intention of watching the first one before going to the cinema for the second one.
Yeah.
I don't watch TV. I don't watch anime. I don't watch movies. Like, the only time I watch movies is when I go to the cinema to watch movies with friends.
Sam is a game boy. That's what he does. He games.
I play games. I read manga. I go to work.
Repeat.
Repeat, yeah.
Sometimes we eat, you know? All the time. But yeah, so...
It's like, on the topic of kind of not watching TV and movies and stuff, I was revving up to get back into Marvel. I was like, I looked it up and I realized I'm not actually that far behind, right? Like I can catch up with a couple of movies and a TV show, and I was really getting hyped up to do it. And then I read today that what's the new Secret Invasion, Secret Wars,
Invasion
has just finished, and apparently the ending is ass. I was like,
no way, really?
Apparently,
everyone is hyping that TV show up.
Apparently, so I was reading some stuff, and there was like average review scores for episode by episode, and it just like decreases down to 6 point something, and the chat is just, it's not great. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not gonna kill you or anything, but it's just not great. And it's just killed all enthusiasm again for me to go out of my way to get up to date. So I just don't care again. And it's nothing to do with Marvel, because I like good Marvel stuff. I'm so excited for this new Spider-Man game, but it's just, I don't know, I can't.
Yeah, right. Okay, here's what I need you to do, Josh, right? Yeah. And this is how I go into films and everything now. Is just stop, I don't look into what anyone else says. You just go there.
You're not wrong. I know what you're saying. Yeah,
you just have to just enjoy it. Even if it's shit, you've got to just enjoy it.
But there's, it's one thing. I will go to the cinema to see a shit film because it's just hanging out with friends, right? That's fine. But I don't want to commit to a 10-hour TV show.
That's the issue.
That ultimately turns out to be ass. I just don't want to bother getting invested in it.
I guess TV shows a bit different, but I always have this thing in my head where I worry that we overhype and underhype things far too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't remember who it was I was talking to about this. I think it might have been Steve a while ago, where I think maybe it was Steve, maybe someone else was saying I don't hype stuff because you can get let down or whatever, and then if it is good and you haven't hyped it, then it's good because you can enjoy it. But I've always said I love getting hype for stuff. That's part of the fun. I love being excited for something. And I think if you can't get excited for something, why bother?
I do understand, but sometimes you get so hyped for something that when it actually happens, it's a very big letdown.
Yeah, I like to think that I do provide. I give myself an expectation, right? I don't go out of my way to hype things that are massive unknowns. Normally, things I'm excited for are going to be good for me most of the time. That's not always a slam dunk. It's been. I'm trying to think if there's anything recently. I'm trying to think of something that I've hyped up that has actively been really bad or a letdown. I can't think of anything, but it's probably something. I try to be educated, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm getting hyped for something, it's due to a history of it being good previously, or something like that.
It's very hard not to get hyped for Armored Core 6 when previews are just coming out and people who are big FromSoft fans are all going yeah, this game is kind of awesome. I'm very excited. And it's I don't even read into it, but I see thumbnails of stuff this game is awesome. And I'm
yeah. See, I guess the equivalent for that for me is Remnant. But for Armored Core specifically, if I see something say Armored Core, I just skip past it. I haven't seen any reviews. I try not to see, because especially for games I know I'm going to buy.
Oh yeah.
It's you want to not burn out overhype. If it is shit, it's unfortunate, but you're going to buy it anyway. So
yeah.
I get entirely what you mean.
But it's different people, different lifestyles, right?
Yeah. I feel and this is in no way the consumer's fault, but I feel a lot of people that hype stuff that end up being bad and are let down is sometimes stuff where they see one trailer or just something really small, and they're this looks so good, I'm going to buy it. Whereas my approach to things when I get hype is I'm normally surrounded by this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Within the grand scheme of things, a lot of my excitement isn't based on just a singular thing, unless there is only one thing that exists because it's so far out or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's all part of the experience, right? Reading reviews, early reviews, or watching previews or something, getting hyped for something, and then either being disappointed or whatever. It's all just part of the experience. Like even if I'm disappointed, it's like, oh,
yeah, it's like I was
good stuff. We had fun.
So excited for Pikmin 4, right? And then in my mind, it's going to hit a certain level of expectation. So so my excitement is based on that. And then I don't read reviews, but I look at scores, because from 40 plus people, it gives me a good idea of how good it actually is before it turns up. And it's just, if it's really good, I get even more excited, and it all just builds up until I get to play it, and then it just heightens my personal experience.
Those games where you get hyped and then it's better than your hype is like, oh,
and that's rare.
Yeah.
Because Pikmin is like, I was like, oh yeah, it'll be an easy 7, and for me that'll be like a 9, because I love Pikmin.
Yeah.
And then it's just like averaging like around 9. I'm like, oh my god, but my math, that's a 11 out of 10 for me. Holy shit. It's better than expected. But yeah. Okay, well, we'll go on from this. We've got a few more little ones we'll have a quick look at. This one I thought was quite interesting. This is about, remember Star Wars Outlaws?
Yeah.
It's the new Ubisoft open world Star Wars game. It's apparently, they've come out and deliberately said it's not going to be a 300-hour epic unfinishable RPG. Which,
oh yeah, I've heard that one before. Ubisoft.
Didn't they say that with their last game?
I think so. Yeah.
Because
that's good though. I'm glad that's games. Games don't need to be that long. I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That game did not need to be that long. That was ludicrous.
It feels oddly self-aware, doesn't it? Where it's like, it's not going to be a 300-hour epic RPG. Haha, we don't like those. It's like, mate, you're the one making them. Like, no one else is making these.
Literally, no one else is
just
making
don't do it. We've got to come out and praise yourself for doing something that you already did.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because it's like games are getting more expensive, and it's like we were even talking about it earlier with ViewFinder, where you said, like, hey, it's $20 for like 3-4 hours, right? That's not going to be to everyone's cup of tea. And it's like, okay, well then the logical conclusion to that is, well, if my game is infinite, then it's worth infinite money, and you should all shut up. But it's like, there is a limit. It seems like we found a limit. Ubisoft found the breaking point for that money to time ratio.
What will happen is this will come out and it will be like 30 hours long. And everyone will say it's too short, so the next one will be 500 hours. And we keep going backwards and forwards, never getting it right.
What's good? What's like good RPG length for you?
Good RPG length for me, from start to finish, as not 100%, but like hitting credits. I'm gonna say 40 hours.
40 hours, okay.
Yeah. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think I could see that. Because I always, whenever I was just reading a preview of Baldur's Gate, and they were saying, like, your playthrough is probably going to run you like 120 hours. And for some reason, my knee-jerk reaction was like, this sounds kind of short. I don't know about this. But, like, that's ludicrous.
I remember my Persona 5 playthrough. From start to finish being about 110 hours, I think. That game took me literally months to finish, and I was playing it so much. I think I took a break halfway through, so I was like, "Holy shit, I'm playing so much Persona 5."
Took a forever break.
Oh my god, yeah.
I was gonna say, mine was 110 hours minus about 4 hours.
You were so close.
Because I never finished it.
Have we ever told this story on the podcast?
So many times.
Okay.
I think
we
I
must
brought
have
it
done.
up multiple times.
What about you, Sam? What's a good RPG length to hit credits, not to finish it, as you would, I assume, like, doing everything, but like just hitting credits?
I honestly, maybe my feelings are changing nowadays, but I feel for an RPG, a decent RPG, anything 40 plus is fine.
Yeah.
I actually think once you hit, like, I also hit 100 plus hours on Persona 5, and if it wasn't Persona 5, I don't think I would have got there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That game just made me want to keep playing it, but I don't expect that level of amazingness from
That-
anything.
Yeah.
You know?
For me, the Persona, even though I didn't finish it, but I could have done, but I didn't. But the thing that got me with Persona was like, it was like you said, I was like 100 hours in, and I can't ever do that again. That hit at a certain point in my life where I was just out of uni. I didn't have any responsibilities. I'd moved into a flat with no internet connection for one thing. So all I had was this 100-hour RPG, and it's like I'm never gonna get those exact circumstances again where I can just play 100 hours of an RPG nonstop.
It's weird because both that and Persona 4, which I also put in, I think like 80, 90 hours to see through to the end, also hit at a certain time where it was almost like a perfect, right? I think Persona 4 was whilst we were at university during summer break. Everyone had gone home, but I was working in the city where we went to uni, and because I was like working, I wanted the money. I stayed, so I was in an empty house. Everyone else had gone home. All the flatmates had gone home, and I just booted up an emulator and played Persona 4. I think every day, non-stop for like 6 days. Woke up, played because I was so engrossed.
Yeah.
Whilst I was also very gross playing this game every day. But I think about that now, and like I said with Persona 5, like I finished Persona 5, but it took months. Of little 2-hour play sessions, and then like a weekend or something, or a day off where I play for a bit longer, and then just over and over and over. And it's so long. It's so long.
Okay, but I look at Dead by Daylight, right?
Yeah.
I bought the Steam version about a month ago.
Yeah.
I think it's still not even been a month. I have 143 hours played.
That's absurd.
Like,
that's not a reason. That's like Will says. That's just absurd.
yeah, I'm like, I actually.
That's a sickness.
I think if a game grabs you, I think you'd find yourself playing a game for 100 hours.
But
not thinking about it, I think, is the asterisk.
I would almost. I don't know. I think it's tricky because something like Dead by Daylight or any other game like that, it's very easy to lose track of how much you're playing it because everything is almost the same, right? It's a 20-minute loop, just done infinitely. Whereas I find myself very more aware of the time I'm putting into a game that's like an RPG, I find.
Yeah.
I think we need to separate, like, if we're going down this road, like single player versus something like a multiplayer game. Because I'm sure we've all put hundreds of hours into like Siege or Counter-Strike.
To 20 hours. I actually think 20 hours should be a suitable enough time for you to get to credits in an RPG and have had a satisfactory experience.
Yeah, I would agree to that, yeah.
20 hours of like pure gameplay. Yeah.
I think I said 40 hours, and then I've actually just looked through my Steam profile of like some of the RPGs I've played recently. I've not hit 40 hours, and I was starting to get a little bit like, I kind of just want to finish the game now, kind of situation.
I had that with Tears of the Kingdom. Well, I love that game. I thought it was absolutely amazing, but towards my natural end with it, I was just thinking, I'm ready to wrap this up now. I know there's so much more stuff I could do, but I am ready to hit some sort of credits to put a lid on this whole thing.
See, I was about to bring up like something like Tears of the Kingdom as like the exception to the rule, because that was one where I feel like oftentimes games run out of things to show you around like the 20-40 hour mark, and then it's just like more stuff. But Tears of the Kingdom specifically was like, I was like 60-70 hours in with Aaron, and like, what if they just introduce this whole new mechanic out of nowhere? Go for it, and then make a whole side quest around that. And that one I specifically carried me way further than I don't like 40 hours.
I don't think Tears of the Kingdom, like you say, ever ran out of ideas to the point where I've mentioned this copious amounts of times. I rent everything, but it's one of the actual games that I've bought because I want to revisit it repeatedly in the future. I just feel like in a world where there's so many other things to play and there's things always coming out, I didn't want to leave it in limbo. I wanted to put a lid on it, finish it up, so that I could go, play Street Fighter and Final Fantasy without leaving Hyrule in peril, basically.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where why I wanted to put a lid on it, and I find that's why I want to finish most long games I end up playing, because I just want to dig into something else. It's it's one of the reasons why I really love watching it, and I get why people do it, which is speed running, but I could never do it myself.
I'm gonna say something that is gonna give some slight validation to Will, and I don't want to say it, but I find that like games are really good, or RPGs in particular, at like the start and mid, but most RPGs really struggle to end strongly at the moment, in my experience. And it causes, like, what Will did with Persona 5.
Yep.
You're there, like, kind of like, dude, just I've done the story. I know what's about to happen. Let's just do it and be done. We don't need this to take 6 hours.
I've always
I get Persona's paced. Why I don't want to rag on that. I really like Persona, but I feel like you could have cut some. There was like parts you could cut out of Persona that would change nothing. Maybe like a full dungeon you could cut from Persona, and it would change nothing, and the story would work out just the same, and it would be a better game for it. Because, I do.
I feel like that in quite a few RPGs, though. Like actually, quite a lot of RPGs.
Yeah, true. True.
I almost got it in FF16, but FF16's final boss ended so strongly. I was in.
Yeah.
But
that's
like, sorry, you go.
Well, that's a good point. I was thinking about like, because we were just talking about Tears of the Kingdom. I haven't finished Tears of the Kingdom, and I don't know when I'm going to go back to that. Now that's like this year's been nuts, so I have dropped it for other stuff. But like, when I think about like Dark Souls, and I love Dark Souls, but there is always a point in Dark Souls where it runs out of new fun stuff, and I'm just like, oh well, time to finish the story. I might as well. Time to finish the game, I guess. You know what I mean? Like happened in Elden Ring and stuff. Really liked Elden Ring, but there was a certain point where I'm done exploring, and I'm like, all right,
I just want to be done.
Guess I'll just be done with this. Yeah, I'll go and finish.
It makes me think if perhaps certain games are budgeted in a way to have less focus on the ending parts compared to the start, purely because more people will experience the start.
Yeah, absolutely. The start is far more important than the ending.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where you would never want putting like selling stuff and money and stuff to the side, and just like thinking about it as like an art piece, right? It's your story. You're a director of. You want to tell this story. I would think that you'd want it to end strong, but like we're saying, it kind of goes against the logic of like half the players are going to see this compared to the first 1 to 2 hours. So although it's arguably the most important bit, the ending, it might not always get looked at as importantly as it should be. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but you get what I mean.
No one's going to get there.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't really. There's no like meaning to what I'm saying. Really, I guess it's just an interesting thing to think about.
Maybe that's Ubisoft is so unconfident in their endings. They're just like, just make it 300 hours long. Then no one's going to see an ending. We don't even have to write it. Does anyone know if like Assassin's Creed Valhalla has an ending? Has anyone done it?
You were talking about the infinite playtime game a bit earlier with infinite budget or whatever. We've come full. So it exists. It's going to be Ubisoft's next game. Even they don't know how long it is.
You said that, and what came to mind was Honkai Star Rail.
It's never going to end.
It never ends.
Yeah,
I'm stuck. I am glued to this chair on the Star Rail Express, and I cannot leave. Yes, this is a cry for help. And that game's great though. Everyone should play it. I'm being forced to say that. It's like what is it? Super Hot being the most innovative shooter I've ever played. It's like me and Starro being like, yeah, Star Rail's amazing. I love it. I'm being forced to say that against my will.
You have to say it. Yeah.
I have to say it. That's all the news for the week. There was very, very quickly. Pokemon Sleep exploits these players pretending to rack up weeks of sleep for Pokemon Go rewards. Not really news, but I thought that was kind of funny. Just people pretending to sleep so they can get an outfit in Pokemon Go.
Brilliant.
I've actually heard a couple of people say that this is actually quite helpful compared to a couple of the other sleeping apps. But apparently, people are saying this actually seems to do help people.
Well, yeah, it's normally for a lot of people, if they have bad sleep routines, whether that's like excessive watching of something or eating too late before bed or this, that, or the other, having something that literally tells you to stop everything and go to bed, is probably going to be good for your sleep.
Can I'll admit something live on podcast.
Oh no!
I've had this
Will
health app on my apart from that and upside down. But I've had this health app on my iPhone for ages, and it has you can set it to say, "Hey, I'd like to be asleep by this time, and I'd like to wake up by this time." And it's like, okay, well, here's what you need to do to have a good sleep schedule, and it will send me alerts every evening. Saying, hey, you need to start winding down. So if you want to shut off the PC, go get a book or go get into bed. Don't drink any coffee or drink any fizzy drinks or whatever. Right from now on, and I ignore it 100% of the time.
I was just thinking that because I'm the same. It's like I installed Pokemon Sleep to give it a go, and it's like, what time do you want to go to bed? What time do you want to wake up? And I was like, oh, let's do 11 p.m. to 7. And I'm there, it's on my phone, in bed, it's like 10 to 11, and then a notification comes up that says, you should start going to bed. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think I'm just going to ignore that.
It's like the advisors in Civ watching me build my 5th nuke, and they're like, if you did peace talks with Greece, maybe they would be open to that. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, mate.
I'm just going to ignure that.
So I dismiss him for that 9th time.
Yeah, it doesn't fit my agenda that I'm going for, so I'm just going to ignore that, thanks.
Literally, it's stupid. Literally, I installed that about 4 years ago, and nightly it pops up and says, hey, time for bed, and I dismiss it and go back to whatever I was doing 100% of the time. It's so stupid.
If it was 4 years ago and you're still doing it, I just assume it's like a power thing at this point. You just like be like nah.
I just like to feel in control of my own life. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Tell the bad rectangle to shut up as you keep scrolling on Reddit. All right, we're done there. This is the part where I would normally show upcoming games and stuff, but I've forgotten again. I guess we'll just wrap up and
Was it Baldur's Gate 3? That's next week, right? Or does that not count as next week? It's next Thursday, I think.
That counts then, right? I think that counts. Hang on.
Well, there we go then. Baldur's Gate next week.
Baldur's Gate 3, that's your big one. I'm just finding out.
I'm excited. I'm going to play a lot of it, then talk about it.
Why does it say October? Oh, because it was early access, wasn't it?
Yeah.
God, I'm so... Okay. Ever since the whole intercourse with a bear thing, it's been top selling. I've seen it top selling on Steam like every day.
Yeah.
To be okay, it may have helped.
Yeah, I don't want to
sell to a certain community, but I don't want to undersell how big Baldur's Gate, those two words together, is.
I completely agree, but at the same time, it has been almost to the day since that trailer dropped and all the conversation around that game was about the bear sex.
I 100% agree with you, Sam. There was many contributing factors, but it wasn't Baldur's Gate trending on Twitter, was it? It was bear sex.
All right, it's not going to get better than that, so we'll top it off here. Thank you for listening, everybody. We're going to head off now. So, my name is BottlerWorks on everything. Try and find me if you can. What about you, Will?
Hello. You find me, Olive-Meister. I'm on Twitch and everything.
Newly made partner. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Congrats.
Yeah.
And then Sam as well.
Yeah. Hello. I'm Sam. Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.